The history of what is now Johnson C. Smith University is just incredible. Imagine what it was like for African Americans at the end of the Civil War. Literally, they had been legally prevented from developing basic skills like reading and writing so that they could function as independent citizens. Two individuals, two white men, were responsible for the establishment of Biddle Institute, as it was originally known. One was a Pennsylvanian who had come south, whose name was Samuel Carruthers Alexander. He was the minister of Steel Creek Presbyterian Church. And because he became a strong advocate for Presbyterian churches establishing new churches for recently freed slaves. The other individual who was responsible for the establishment of Biddle Institute was Willis L. Miller, who was also from the North and who was a representative of the Northern Presbyterian Church, because churches split because of the Civil War. These two men raised the money primarily from the widow of a man by the name of Henry Biddle, who had been a Union officer in the Civil War and who had been killed in battle. They raised the money. The school was established in April 1867, not at its present location, but in a building in uptown Charlotte. The next great hero in this story is another white man. His name is William Myers. And William Myers gave 8 acres of land on what is now West Trade Street and Beatty's Ford Road for a new campus for the school. And so it moved to that location relatively soon after its establishment. The next great hero is also a white man, because originally the entire faculty of Biddle Institute was made up of white people. This man's name was Stephen Mattoon, because he thought that in order for this campus to be really a majestic place, it needed a majestic building. He knew, for example, that it needed a building that would be truly representative of the grandeur of the school. And that's exactly what happened. In 1884, Biddle Hall, this incredible brick Gothic Revival building, was completed on the Biddle Institute campus. And essentially it really housed everything. Classrooms, professors' offices, the students, and there were relatively few at that time, most being trained for the ministry. Well, you can't stand in front of Biddle Hall without being impressed. But in many ways, what is the most remarkable about what Stephen Mattoon did, part of the money that was raised to build that school, not all of it, but part of it, was raised in the white community of Charlotte. Now, that might not seem particularly unusual today, but it was unusual then. When you take into account the intensity of feeling that existed on the race issue.
Attorney Charles Jones has been a Charlottean since 1947. Listen as he recalls some of his memories of Biddle Hall, Biddle Institute, and now Johnson C. Smith.
Biddle Hall was this huge, at 6 years old, this huge imposing place that I said, wow, And it had some chimes which were put in during the time that a building was designed. So at 6 years old, I crept up the stairs to the tower and got in and saw these huge wheels turning and tick-tock, and then all of a sudden, dom 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 dom, dom 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 dom, dom 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 dom, dom 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 dom. Boom, and it was 12 o'clock. Boom, and this huge bell, and I'm going, oh my God! And that was my intimate connection to a pulse of the campus and the community, which every 15 minutes, da 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 da, 15 after, da 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 da, quarter of, then all four. And from that point, I was not only aware of Biddle Hall, heard the stories that my parents told about their experience with Biddle Hall, and I had done something none of them had done. I crept up and saw the innards of that door. I would wake up to the chimes. I'd go to sleep to the dawn, and it has been a pulse, a rhythm, something you can depend on for all of my adult life when I've been here. So that was my introduction to Biddle Hall.
African American leadership came to Biddle University in 1891, when Daniel Sanders became president. In 1907, Henry McCrory, a Biddle graduate, became president and served until 1947. President McCrory raised the matching funds to allow for the Carnegie Library to open on campus on November 5, 1911.
Well, the school, of course, continues to evolve. It's now coeducational. It continues to serve the very purpose for which it was founded, to uplift young people, mostly African American people, but not exclusively so. And it is truly a wonderful institution to have in the midst of this community.